even with that and working with thousands of entrepreneurs and small business owners over the year through our live events, through our courses and intensives, as well as in our coaching programs, one of the sticking points that really impacts entrepreneurs and small business owners at every level, especially at that low to mid six-figure mark, really wanting to get to the $1 million mark, launching can be a source of confusion and frustration. You're listening to the Move to Millions podcast with Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon, the place to be for high-level conversations about all things millions. Your mission, mindset, methodologies, mandate, movement, messaging, marketing, metrics, and most definitely your money. I am your host, spiritual business growth coach, Dr. Darnyelle J. Harmon. Join me each week for inspiring stories, powerful interviews, and business growth strategy to help you experience abundance in your life because of your business. If you're ready to move to your next level everything, let's get this party started. This episode is powered by Move to Millions, the book. If you are a millions-minded entrepreneur or small business owner, and you want to know how to make the move to millions without sacrificing your family, your faith, your freedom, your finances, or your fun, if you want to learn how to make more money in your business and to build an infrastructure that you can scale and sustain, and you want to do it without hustling and grinding, despite what the marketplace is trying to tell you, I have just what you need. Go to movetomillionsbook.com and get your copy and our exclusive bonuses by acting now. I am so excited for you guys to join me for another episode of the Move to Millions podcast. Today is going to be part training and part venting. I just want to let you know up front because there's a lot going on right now in my world, and I am excited and grateful for all of it. I'm here for every single thing that's happening. I also wanted to share, was trying to think about what was going to be the forum where I was going to talk about some of the things that are happening right now in this current launch that we are running. Unless you've been under a rock, unless this is your very first time listening to the Move to Millions podcast, then you know we are launching a book, Move to Millions, How to Become a $1 Million CEO with Grace and Ease instead of hustle and grind, using our proven framework, is on its way to you. Okay. So you know that unless you just got here. And if you just got here, welcome. I'm so excited that you found us. You will come to learn and come to see this podcast as a true resource for yourself. I can see you now coming back every single week. Let me just also sidebar and tell you that you need a dedicated notebook. Go buy one of those old school composition notebooks or get another journal. And I want you to get this journal and dedicate it to the Move to Millions podcast. My mission is that every single week when I show up or when I show up with a guest, we give you success clues that helps to make the journey that you are on to and beyond the $1 million mark easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, there will be work. But I believe, just like the Bible talks about, in sweatless victories, there will be work to be done, but you will not have to strive and work hard in order to do it. I know you. Listen, you're an entrepreneur, small business owner. Your business is growing. You're seeing new things happen. And you have your eyes on millions. You're thinking about it. It hasn't happened yet, but you can visualize it. Maybe you've even put $1 million bill on your vision board. I see you. And that is what we do here at the Move to Millions podcast. Give you insight, give you strategy, and help you to shift the way you see yourself and money so that you'll be able to walk into your millions and that it does not have to be hard as you do. Work, yes. Hard work, hustle, grind work. Nah, not here. That's not how we roll. So I'm calling this episode Failure to Launch because I have come to learn, I've been working with entrepreneurs and small business owners for a very long time. First in my Mary Kay Cosmetics business, then as the director of the Women's Business Center here in the state of Delaware, and now with Incredible One Enterprises, which will be 16 years old come October 1st. Can you guys believe it? 16 years. That's like my sweet 16. That literally just dawned on me. So even with that and working with thousands of entrepreneurs and small business owners over the year through our live events, through our courses and intensives, as well as in our coaching programs. One of the sticking points that really impacts entrepreneurs and small business owners at every level, especially at that low to mid six-figure mark, really wanting to get to the $1 million mark, launching can be a source of confusion and frustration. I wanted to share with you some of the things that are important for you to know about launching. And I also wanted to just give you some insight into what's going on in my world right now as we are launching this book. Now, launching anything is a huge undertaking. If you're taking notes, write that down, highlight it. It is such a huge undertaking. And it's because there are so many moving parts to having a successful launch. I've watched client after client after client start the process of launching and make key mistakes that made a difference in their ability to get the launch results that they wanted. And we spent a lot of time helping our clients troubleshoot their launches. And maybe I'll do an episode on the podcast in the future all about troubleshooting your launch. But today I want to talk to you high level about launching, because I also want to break down to you what's going on with us right now as we are launching our book, Move to Millions. All right. So in a launch, there are 5 phases to the launch. Right? When you're going through the launching process, you're going to first plan out your launch, then you're going to prepare for your launch, then you're going to eventually promote what you're launching, hold the launch event, and then you're going to do your post-launch follow-up. 5 different phases. In each phase of your launch, there are different things that you are doing. So when you're in the planning phase of a launch, you're specifically looking at getting really, really clear about your goals and your objectives, who this launch is for, who you need to reach, what strategies and marketing you're going to need to look at in order to eventually get to the point that you're in front of them. During the planning phase, you're going to be starting to gather up what the offer is going to be that you're going to make at the end and during your launch event, right? Then you're going to move into your prep phase. And when you're prepping, that's when you're building out all of your assets, everything that you're going to need. And it's a lot of assets that you need. When I tell you the amount of things that we have created for this book launch in just a few minutes, it's a lot. From the prep phase, then you're going to move into the promotion phase. Promotion is when you're driving awareness. You're getting people excited about it, and they're potentially even taking the action that you want them to take. So for in our instance, as we're in pre-order mode for our book, part of our launch as we're promoting it is getting people to actually order their 1, 3, 5, 10 copies of the book. We're literally doing both. We're making people aware, and we're also looking for them to take the action. Then we will have the launch. So the day the book launches, November 7th, is launch day. On that day, we're going to be creating a lot of buzz. Our omnipresence is going to be felt around the world. We are going to be focused on shaking the planet. And then for the whole first week that the book is out, we're going to be pushing the book, really, really focusing. So our launch event is actually going to be 7 days. And then we're going to move into wrap up, where we're actually trying to take and get people to do the other parts of it. So with a book specifically, it's not enough that you just go and buy a copy. You also have to leave a review. All of these things that I'm learning as I decided to write this book. And some of you, if you've been here before, you've heard me start to share some of the story about how the book came to be. So when God dropped Move to Millions into my spirit back in 2020, October the 22nd, 2020, I knew that there was work to be done. We did the rebrand, we relaunched this podcast, and then it dawned on me that I needed to write the book. Stuck on the 6-figure plateau? It's time that you cross over the $1 million milestone with grace and ease. Part memoir and part methodology, Move to Millions, the proven framework to become a $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind, helps entrepreneurs and business owners simplify their processes to multiply their profits. Known for breaking down complex topics, I equip you with all that you need to leave the headaches of scaling your business behind so that you can be empowered and edified without compromising any of your values in the process. It is time for you to make the move to millions. Grab your copy today at movetomillionsbook.com. You guys know, this is the book I was born to write.
It is so good. I've been reading the book in a private podcast. It is so good. And I've been doing that because I want to get the content out. Like, I'll be honest, when I learned that the book wasn't going to come out until November the 7th, back in March, when I submitted my final manuscript to the publisher, it was a little daunting because when you self-publish, you literally submit, you go through the editing process, you get it typeset, you have all the things, you put it out there, the book is launched. Well, when you're working with a traditional publisher, it doesn't quite work that way. Now, the benefits of working with a traditional publisher, that you get a greater reach and distribution. I don't even know if you realize this, but the average self-published author only sells 250 copies of their book. I wrote Move to Millions in order to shake the planet. So there is no way in the world that I was willing to chance what might happen through self-publishing the book. So I went through the process of getting a traditional book deal. Now, even when you work with a traditional publisher, marketing the book these days is still largely on you. I mean, I had to write a marketing plan in my proposal to get the book accepted by the publisher that I wanted to publish my book. Oh, it's a serious thing. It is such an important thing to understand how you are going to actually sell copies of the book. When you work with a traditional publisher, they put skin in the game, which means you also have to put skin in the game. And as a collective, you're working together in order to create something that is going to be remarkable, that others are going to talk about for a period of time. I'm excited about what has transpired so far with Move to Millions. I don't know if I told you guys this already, but my goal is to sell 10,000 copies of the book by November the 6th. Now, you've heard me share, the book comes out on November the 7th. So that means before the book launches to the world, I want to have sold 10,000 copies. Let me tell you why. I have held in my heart since God gave me Move to Millions that this was my movement and this was going to shake the planet. And because of that, I can't think of any better way to shake the planet than by being a New York Times bestselling author. So that is my goal. I'm saying it out loud. I can't believe I'm telling you. Now, deciding or making the decision, because I do think it's a decision, right? You know, I love that Emerson quote. Once you decide, all of the universe rearranges itself to bring you what you decided. Now, making the decision often is the easy part. Giving God something to bless, which is what my team and I are doing right now, is often the hard part, right? But we're committed. We're going to do our due diligence. I am going to shoot for the moon, and I am going to be happy and grateful, and I'm going to hold space for accomplishing this goal to become a New York Times bestselling author. I also would like to be a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author. Now, you guys already know we hit Amazon, like literally. The book came out on pre-order in April. I didn't even get notified by my publisher. I actually got notified by my publicist, who called saying, congratulations. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, you're an Amazon #1 new release and #1 bestseller. I couldn't believe it. Literally, the book had probably been out for hours and it had already hit bestseller status. Phenomenal. So exciting. It was such an amazing omen and testament to what I know is going to happen when this book officially launches. But here's what I need to tell you. That doesn't mean that there won't be work, nor does it mean that I'm resting on my laurels. Now, I've learned a lot of things since we've gone through this process. Namely, I've learned that the year you launch a book, you have the potential for your focus on some of the other initiatives that you have in your company. They just kind of get put on the side burner. Like, if I'm being honest, like our focus, I literally at our team meeting this week or last week said to my team, probably was last week when we hit officially 90 days until the book comes out. I said to my team, listen, for the next 90 days, our goal is to get this book pre-ordered by as many people as we possibly can. And even you listening to this episode of the podcast, it is my sincere prayer and hope that you will honor what you get from this show and go pre-order a copy of the book. Now, if you are going to pre-order a copy of the book, thank you in advance. We've created some phenomenal bonuses, exclusive bonuses that we are making available to those of you who decide to pre-order. I get the question all the time, why can't I just get the book on November the 7th? You can, But when you pre-order the book, let me tell you what happens. You tell Barnes and Noble and Target and Walmart and Books A Million and independent bookstores, you tell them that they should keep this book handy because other people are going to want access to it. That's why I need you to pre-order. And when you pre-order, somebody's going to be upset by this, but hear me out. When you pre-order, I need you to not pre-order on Amazon. I just stated to you a minute ago, we already hit Amazon. We did it. So I need you to pre-order ideally at Barnes and Noble. Now, Barnes and Noble, people probably don't gravitate there because you have Amazon Prime, which means there's no extra shipping. Well, on Barnes and Noble, if you buy 2 copies, you will get free shipping. For those of you who will see the video of this, it would just serve me so well if you would buy a copy at Barnes & Noble. Now, I said to you, we're making a run for Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and New York Times. You pretty much have to forget about Amazon to hit those lists. You need to get the book purchased across the country at Barnes & Noble and smaller bookstores. This is why I need your help. This is part of the reason why I wanted to talk about that in this week's episode. Now, I don't even know how long we have before the book comes out. We're under 90 days and we have sold a lot of copies. I really need you to buy 1 to 3 copies too. You know someone that I don't know that is an entrepreneur that you can gift with this book. Listen, I put my foot in this book. In case you don't know what I mean when I say that, it is really good. I've been reading it in the private podcast and I am blown away at some of the thoughts and concepts and even the stories from my childhood that I was able to pull out and relate to business. I am blown away by this book. I am actually really grateful that I decided to do the private podcast as opposed to releasing a PDF of the book. So let me tell you about the bonuses that we have in place for you when you order your copy of the book. First and foremost, you're going to get some bonus content that didn't make it into the book. When I wrote this book, I remember talking with the publisher and we're having that initial conversation after the book was accepted. And he says, we'd like to see a book that's around 60 to 80,000 words. Oh yeah, that's no problem. I'll be able to do that. Y'all, I started writing the book and the book was more than 120,000 words. And it just flowed out of me. 120,000 words would probably have been 500 pages. Yes, and I'm cute. My face is on the cover of the book, but I didn't want a book that was 500 pages. So instead, we decided to take, with the help of my editors, I had an editing team that supported me. We decided to take some of the chapters, the worksheets, the templates, some of the case studies. We decided to take them out of the book and put them into a resource guide for you. So once the book launches, because we're still formulating and putting the guide together. We are in pre-launch, by the way. Once the book launches, you'll be able to get access to a resource guide of all the bonuses, all the extra content that didn't make it into the book. And that stuff is just as juicy as everything that did. Second bonus that is waiting for you when you pre-order a copy of your book from Barnes & Noble and go to movetomillionsbook.com is the private podcast of me reading the entire book cover to cover. Now, this private podcast, it's got my energy, it's got my antics. You can hear me as I am breaking down these concepts for you. It has been so fun reading this book. I did this because I wanted you to be able to consume it prior to having the book come out November the 7th, so that you'll be ready to go write your review right now or as soon as you start listening on Goodreads. And once the book comes out, you can go to Barnes & Noble or wherever you purchased your copy and also leave a review. Your reviews make a difference. You're also, the third thing that you get when you pre-order a copy of the book is you get access to a virtual launch party. On November the 14th, I'm holding a virtual launch party. I'm waiting a week on purpose because I hope to be able to report to you that we have done it, that we've hit New York Times, we've hit Wall Street Journal, we've hit USA Today. We did it. We defied the odds and we wrote a best-selling book. And your help to get this book out into the ethers helped me to accomplish a dream that I hold in my heart. I didn't even know this was my dream until I got the book done. I felt so good in my spirit, so light and energized as I was putting the finishing touches on the book last year. And I literally heard my spirit say, this is a best-selling book. I want the planet to shake as they read this book. As you know, this book is part memoir, meaning I tell you all my business, and it is part methodology. I break down the Move to Millions method, which is our proven framework to become $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind. This framework, which comprises 5 things: success mindset, strategy, system, sales, and support, is the reason why we're watching businesses climb the Move to Millions continuum. They're going from $100,000 a year to $100,000 a quarter to $100,000 a month to $100,000 a week to $100,000 a day to $100,000 an hour because of what is in this book. It is so good. I cannot stress that to you enough. And so writing this book, making that decision, decreeing it and declaring it out loud, and now sharing with you, I need your help to get a copy of the book, to share this book with everyone that you know. Listen, to get 10 copies of the book. These bonuses are really designed to help to make sure that you get the reward of knowing that you helped us to make a really, really big difference. And then our last bonus is that I'm going to be hosting some Ask Me Anything calls where I'll be doing laser coaching and business makeovers. I'm going to do one in September and one in October leading up to the launch of the book. See why I need you to get your copy now? That way you'll be able to participate in my Ask Me Anything calls. I might make over your business. Do you know that if I spend 10 minutes on your business, I will give you the $1 million plan that if you implement, it will get you to the $1 million mark. I love business makeovers and I cannot wait to make over your business. All you need to do is go to movetomillionsbook.com, click on order my copy and choose Barnes & Noble, choose Porchlight if you're buying multiple copies. Porchlight even discounts the book a little bit if you're going to get a couple of copies. Choose Target, choose Walmart, just don't choose Amazon. Buy your copy of the book, then go back to movetomillionsbook.com, click on the Claim My Bonuses button and go fill out the form and share with us your order details so that we can send you your bonuses. Is checking your profit and loss statement and realizing that you've made $1 million in cash or more in your business in 1 year your wildest dream? I've got just the book you need to give you a step-by-step framework to bring your dream to life and to position you to sustain it for years to come. Move to Millions, the book will take you from straddling the 6-figure plateau to making, moving, and leaving millions, even if you have no idea where to start or how simple it can be. You can start your journey on the Move to Millions today by ordering your copy at movetomillionsbook.com. As soon as you place your order, you will join our Move to Millions book squad and get access to exclusive bonuses that include getting to read the book now before your copy arrives once the book release. Go now to movetomillionsbook.com and join our book squad by getting your copy today. I'm just going to thank you in advance for helping us. I'm just going to thank you in advance. This launch, it's ongoing. So back to launching for a second. So submitted the full book to the publisher, ready to go March the 1st, like final edits, everything's done March the 1st. We start the process for them to start producing the book. It's called the galley, get the galley copy, review it, love it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Sign off on it. The book then ends up on Amazon in April. Early April, become an Amazon bestseller right away. Then it was time for Move to Millions. For those of you who joined us at Move to Millions 2023, you got to see the book, the big book. We rolled it out. We sold thousands of copies of the book at the event. And now we're focused on the rest of our launch to get it out into the world. And you're going to see me talking about it all the time on social. It's probably for the next 90 days going to be all you see me talking about, to be honest, just putting it out there, just preparing you in advance. You're going to see me talking about it a lot. Every single person who pre-orders the copy will also become a member of our book squad. And that's our street team for helping us to spread the word and promote the book. And so all of us will be working to get more copies of the book sold. And as a member of our book squad, there's going to be extra bonuses available to you during our virtual launch. Now, during our virtual launch on November the 14th, not only am I teaching you a training for you to finish the year ready to set your business up to make the move to millions in 2024. We have clients every single year who do it in 1 year. So yes, it is possible for you too. And it won't require hustle and grind for you to do it. I'm so fully committed on that. All of that is going to happen. Now, I told you 5 phases to the launch process. Planning. We started planning while the book was being edited. Typically, the planning phase is going to be 1 to 4 weeks. It really just depends on whatever else you're working on, but you're going to be planning for like 1 to 4 weeks. Then we started preparing. We started getting our graphic design team to create our visual assets. We started hiring extra marketing team and a publicist. We started working on all of the things we needed to put in place, writing email sequences and swipe copy to use on social media and to your email list for everybody who joins our book squad, reaching out to friends and influencers to preview the book and give me quotes for the book. All of that happened in the prep phase. And now we're in the promote phase. We're going to be promoting until the wheels fall off, or November the 7th, or actually November the 13th, whichever comes first. We're going to be promoting, and we need your help to promote. That's why when you pre-order your copy, you get those amazing bonuses and join our book squad. As a member of our book squad, everything you need to help us to promote the book is waiting for you. We did that during the prep phase to get every single thing done. November 7th, the book officially launches, and we'll be in a launch for a week, selling more copies, getting more people to buy copies. I'm going to be doing some book tours, signings. I'm also going to be doing some commas and conversations events. If you pre-order a copy of your book and you are in Atlanta, you are in Phoenix, you are in California, in like the Huntington Beach, I forget what, I think that might be Southern California, like Orange County-ish. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I'm going to be doing some commas and conversations events because I'm booked to speak between now and the book releasing it. Everywhere I go, I'm going to get some people together that have already pre-ordered their copy. So that is another bonus that you get as well. I just want to say thank you for all that you haven't even done yet that you are going to do between now and November the 7th to help us make this book a bestseller on every single list that we can. I thank you in advance for resisting to the urge to get your copy on Amazon. Here's another reason why I don't want you to get your copy on Amazon. When you buy, let's say you say, oh, I love Darnyelle, I want to get 10 copies of the book. If you go to Amazon and you buy 10 copies, do you know that that's going to count as one book? Now, to hit these lists, we need to sell thousands of books. So you know every book counts. When you go to Barnes & Noble or Porchlight and you buy 10 copies, we're going to get credit for all 10 of those books. So that is why I don't want you to use Amazon. And when you buy so many on these other sites, you will earn free shipping. So it'll be the same thing. And I say thank you because that's going to get us one book closer to becoming a bestseller on Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and New York Times. I am so excited for you to get this book. I cannot wait for you to have it. I cannot wait for you to have it. Reading these books in the private podcast has been so amazing to me. I'm just so in awe of how God used me to share this message and to outline our framework to make it palatable and easy for you to learn how you can get your business to the $1 million mark and how you can do it in a way that doesn't compromise what's most important to you and doesn't put you in a position to have to sacrifice your family, your faith, your freedom, your fun, or your finances, and how you can make more money than you even ever thought possible by making the poignant, powerful shifts that we unlock in the book. You're going to hear me over the coming weeks. I'm going to be interviewed and I'm going to interview some people and we're going to parlay and talk about Move to Millions and all of the chapters inside of the book all to get you excited about getting your copy. And again, as soon as you pre-order and go back to movetomillionsbook.com and enter your information when you click the claim my bonuses, you're going to get to listen to me reading this powerful book to you right now. If you love this podcast, wait till you hear my private podcast. It is amazing. And I have you to thank for it. So thank you so much for being a loyal listener. Thank you for coming back every single week. Thank you so much for sharing the podcast with others. And I'm thanking you in advance for sharing the book with every entrepreneur you know. Even your nieces and nephews that are in high school and college, if they have already expressed to you that they want to own their own company someday, put a copy of this book in their hands. One of the things I love about the book coming out in November is that it's just in time for Christmas. It's going to make the perfect Christmas gift. If you are a service provider who serves business owners, get every single one of them a copy of this book. Even if they're already making millions, there are lessons inside of this book that will help them make more millions. It's not make 1 million. It's not move to 1 million. It's move to millions. Multiple millions, to make more, to impact more, and to be able to leave more as a result of this powerful, powerful book. I am so excited that you are on this journey with me, because there will be no failure to launch as we release this book into the world. If you are going to be launching a product or service later this year, if you're gearing up and getting ready for Black Friday sales, because it's going to soon be time to start thinking about that, remember a planning phase, a prep phase to create all of your assets, the promoting phase, so all of the work you need to do before Black Friday for people to know that you have this amazing offer, then launch on Black Friday, and then be prepared for your wrap up so that you too never have to experience a failure to launch. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Thank you for joining me for the Move to Millions podcast. If this episode has impacted you in any way, would you please take a moment and rate and review? Doing so helps us to deepen our impact and expand our reach around the world. And if you are ready to start your very own Move to Millions, I highly recommend that you order your very own copy of my brand new best-selling book, Move to Millions, the proven framework to become a $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind. You can get your copy and our bonuses today at movetomillionsbook.com. Until next time, remember, millions are your birthright, and to access them, you need only move. I'll see you next time.